Everyone assumed the daughter of action legend Steven Seagal and supermodel Kelly LeBrock had a golden ticket to WWE. In December 2019, it looked like they were right. She had the pedigree, the look, and a legit martial arts background. After news of her tryout at the WWE Performance Center hit the wrestling world, the stage seemed set for her debut. But then, nothing. For years, fans and insiders were left wondering what happened. When Arissa LeBrock finally stepped into a wrestling ring for her first official match, it wasn't under the bright lights of Raw or SmackDown. It happened far away from the WWE universe, and the story of how she got there is even more surprising than the debut itself. To really get the shock of Arissa LeBrock's actual debut, you have to understand why she was seen as such a can't-miss prospect in the first place. Seriously, you couldn't write a better character on paper. She's the daughter of two absolute titans, Steven Seagal, the stoic Aikido master and action movie icon, and Kelly LeBrock, the supermodel and actress who defined a generation in films like Weird Science. Arissa grew up in a wild mix of Hollywood glamour and hardcore martial arts. Her dad's legacy is all about untouchable fighting skills, while her mom's is about pure star power. But instead of just riding their coattails, she carved her own path. First, she stepped into her mother's world, becoming a successful plus-size model and even appearing on the Lifetime reality show Growing Up Supermodel. She used that platform to champion body positivity in a notoriously tough industry. But while she was making waves on the runway, that fighting spirit from her father's side was always there. She began training seriously in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the Paragon Jiu-Jitsu and Kickboxing Academy in California. This wasn't some celebrity hobby. She was a legitimate, dedicated competitor, entering tournaments and proving she had the grit of a real fighter. This unique combination made her a fascinating prospect for wrestling. She had her mother's camera-ready presence and her father's combat sport expertise. It was a blend of skills that seemed practically tailor-made for sports entertainment. And pretty soon, the biggest company in that world took notice. In December of 2019, news broke that sent a ripple through the wrestling community. Arissa LeBrock was invited for a multi-day tryout at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. For any aspiring wrestler, that's the call you dream of. The Performance Center is the factory for creating WWE superstars, and an invitation is a huge deal. Wrestling news outlets jumped on the story, highlighting her famous parents and legitimate BJJ background as key attributes that made her stand out. For a company like WWE, she was a marketing dream, a second-generation star, not from the wrestling world, but from mainstream pop culture. Her BJJ training gave her an athletic foundation that a lot of prospects lack, providing her with body awareness and a believable offense. This was her shot to prove she was more than just a famous name. The wrestling world was buzzing, and all signs pointed toward a potential developmental contract and a future on NXT. And then, it all went quiet. After the news of the tryout, Arissa LeBrock essentially vanished from the wrestling world. No signing announcement, no follow-up reports, just radio silence. This led to years of speculation. The truth, however, seems to be far more tragic for an aspiring athlete. While no official report was ever released, the story that has pieced together her journey indicates that she suffered a significant injury around the time of the tryout. The rumored injury was apparently serious enough to completely halt her momentum, closing the door on her WWE opportunity before it ever truly opened. In an instant, the dream was on hold. A major injury can do more than just sideline an athlete. It can send them to a dark place. The momentum was gone, the dream felt shattered, and she was left to recover far from the spotlight. In a later reflection, she admitted she had become comfortable in what she called the darkest, worst place in my life. For years, the story of Arissa LeBrock, the wrestler, was just a piece of trivia, a classic what-if tale. For most people, especially someone with other career options, that would have been the end. But it wasn't. After a long and difficult period of rehabilitation, a wrestling legend intervened. Dustin Rhodes. After his incredible career in WWE as Goldust, Dustin had become a cornerstone of AEW and opened his own acclaimed school, the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. Word is that Dustin heard her story, saw the untapped potential that earned her a WWE tryout in the first place, and offered her a second chance. He invited her to his academy in Texas to rebuild her dream from the ground up, away from the intense pressure of the WWE system. Arissa jumped at the opportunity, making the move to Texas to dedicate herself completely to learning the craft under Dustin's guidance. The Rhodes Wrestling Academy is a world away from the polished WWE Performance Center. It's a gritty, old-school environment where you earn respect with sweat. Here, she wasn't a celebrity's daughter. She was just another student, learning the fundamentals from one of the best storytellers in the business. For months, she worked on translating her BJJ skills into the unique language of pro wrestling, learning to take bumps, run the ropes, and find her confidence all over again. Dustin Rhodes soon began praising her work ethic, seeing her determination firsthand. After months of this grueling, transformative training, her moment of truth finally arrived. In early 2023, Arissa LeBrock made her official public in-ring debut. But it wasn't on Raw, NXT, or SmackDown. It happened at a student showcase for the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. It took place in an intimate setting in front of a small local crowd, people who understood the work that went into that single moment. This was the shocking debut, not because of some big corporate surprise, but because of what it represented. As she stepped through those ropes, she wasn't just the daughter of a celebrity or a WWE what if. She was a person who had overcome a rumored career-threatening injury, crushing self-doubt, and the darkness that followed. She chose the hard road, paying her dues to earn her spot. She didn't use her famous name for a quick headline. Instead, she started from scratch, earned the respect of a legend, and took her first real step in the industry completely on her own terms. Arissa LeBrock's journey is a powerful lesson in resilience. It proves that a legacy isn't just what you're given, it's what you build. Her path was anything but easy, but she is now officially a professional wrestler with a story and skill set unlike anyone else. But the biggest question is, what happens next? What do you think? Should her path eventually lead her back to WWE to finish the story that began at that tryout? Or with her mentor Dustin Rhodes in AEW, is that where she's destined to land? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns from the wrestling world. The story of Arissa LeBrock is still being written, but it's already one of the most compelling narratives in modern wrestling. She started with the immense pressure of two iconic names, a shadow that could have easily swallowed her whole. Her path was detoured by a dream-crushing setback that would have broken most people. Yet she refused to let her story end there. Guided by a wrestling legend, she rebuilt herself, trading a life of comfort for the sweat and sacrifice of the mat. She has transformed herself from Steven Seagal's daughter into Arissa LeBrock, the professional wrestler. The question is no longer if she belongs, but where she will ultimately make her mark. Whether it's WWE, AEW, or somewhere else entirely, the wrestling world has a new bloodline to watch, one that truly nobody saw coming.